All right. Okay. It did let me start or stop halfway. Very good. Testing out a new StreamYard feature of auto intro and outro, and it does still give control to stop it halfway. Welcome, Iwan T. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to all watching and all who watch this after. We are live on Twitch. We are live on Rumble. Finally figured that out, as well as YouTube and Facebook. I probably should have done Instagram as well, but oh well, not this time. And this time we're talking about something very personal, and it has affected me deeply. It still affects my day to day, every day right now, and I am currently in the process of tapering Suboxone quite substantial. I've cut down about 75% in the last 8 weeks here, and I have to continue on and get rid of that last 25% completely out of my system, at which point I will be going through physical hell for at least a week, probably 2 to 3 weeks most realistically. And yeah, it's like a full month of withdrawals coming off of Suboxone due to its extended half-life. And it is harsh. They sell it as a fix, as a cure to the opiate crisis that they themselves, the pharmaceutical companies, have created and unleashed on this Western society and world. And it is not a cure whatsoever. It is part of the same ongoing opiate drug taking side effects, bullshit, and full out physical addiction. It, although it does not get you high, which is good because I was formerly prescribed Oxycontin, which would get you higher than a kite, to say mildly. And the thing with the opiates is that it takes your dopamine, I think dopamine, not serotonin. I'm pretty sure it's the dopamine, and that it's the one that when you accomplish something, right? When you're the chemical that your brain gets released when you like climb a mountain or you succeed, you get a job promotion or whatever you do, you have sex, whatever it is, that's that chemical. But the opiates, the Oxycontin, it would give 1,000 times stronger dosage every time you take the pill. So literally there would be nothing greater than taking, well, sobriety is overrated. Yes, no, everything in moderation, and opiates aren't, you can't do it in a moderation. It's a absolute physical hell and addiction. And that the one good thing about the Suboxone was that it doesn't do this dopamine thing, but it still gives all of the same physical side effects and addiction to the body and dependency, thus myself needing to get completely off of it. And then when you do, you get the opposite side of the heaven that was the high that the opiates gave you. It's the sickness of the withdrawal and how utterly horrible it's living hell. And I've been through it a few times before. Not looking forward to this one, but I am fully committed to it. And that I'm planning here, hopefully this week I will be going to BC with my girlfriend to visit a friend for a few days, as I haven't really had a summer vacation, and summer's now over. So, well, going for a couple days in the mountains, and then when I get back, I will be, fully going into the withdrawal, quitting cold turkey at whatever daily amount I'm still on. It will go to zero, and well, I will be suffering what can only be described as the worst flu symptoms. Your skin is crawling for days. You cannot rest. You have muscle spasms. You literally can't sleep. You can't eat. Everything that's coming out of you, all three ends, is liquid. It's just the absolute worst possible hell that you can imagine. And that is what I will be doing. So I will not be doing streams for a little while, I imagine, once I am back. But today I was supposed to go in, and my doctor canceled on me. And Dr. Robert Tanguay, the one that my tapering doctor and I guess opiate addiction counselor, but the one that put me on the Suboxone in the first place, although I was prescribed Oxycontin by another doctor. Point being, he was ecstatic on the phone today when I told him that I had cut down by 75% since we had talked last, and that my goal here and plan is to completely come off of it. And I should be off of it by the time I'm rebooked to see him in 2.5 weeks' time. Point in being of all of this is it's going to be a very, very rough month. I literally just finished, we had the celebration of life of my father-in-law this past weekend, all the in-laws in, and the truck breaking down, and now the tapering, which really, really sucks and drains a lot of energy out of you. But for the sake of it all, for the sake of claiming sobriety and going full sobriety, I will be committing also to doing like a public publishing my clean drug test results, as I'm able to get free drug testing through the tapering and quitting program. And right, and so I was prescribed an Oxycontin for 10 years, and I quit cold turkey 3 times. Each time it was absolute hell. They prescribed me at one point, and I was taking 18 80 milligram Oxycontin a day. I was literally prescribed that, ingesting it, and I should not be alive, but I survived it to be here. And now it is coming to the end of my, story and troubles with this bullshit drugs from the pharmaceutical companies that my doctors prescribed me. And hopefully that by the end of this year, I am in the class action lawsuit against Purdue for the Oxycontin that was prescribed. Who knows what sort of settlement, if any, I will get, but one has to, keep faith and have their fingers crossed, and it will be awesome to be completely off of all opiates at that time. Back to the point of commitment of I'm going to do 1 month completely sober, or one drug test where I don't even have marijuana in me, but I do become a complete, I don't know, just straight up asshole, like without weeds at the very least. So depending on that, I'll probably still be smoking weed, but that will be it. And that will also be proven in follow-up drug tests that I will do after the complete clean one that I am aiming for and committed to doing, and the hell that I have to go through and endure in between now and then to get there and to get this fucking Suboxone out of my goddamn system. Well, I should say God blessed system, but cursed while having that stupid drug within me. All right, so what else was there to discuss? I guess I've only been talking for 10 minutes. How much can I go on about how shitty it is? Got to be optimistic about it. And, power through it. So what else will we talk about? I definitely do, but my God, is it going to suck? Um, yeah, it's just absolute hell coming off of that stuff. But I'm gonna be doing it, and I got at least a trip to BC coming up right before that. Before then, to do this, I hate. Oh, I'm also gonna try. Hope to God my employer will loan me some money, as I am freaking now again new month back to owing another month. So I am a full 2 months behind yet again on my storage rent. So I'm kind of screwed on that. And that was why I was like, I need to get a job. I can't get a job while I'm going through the detox. So hopefully my current employer will be able to lend me some money so I don't lose my equipment. My God, there's so much stuff going on, but you have to just persevere, thus making the choice that the universe will somehow prevail. And I just need to get off of this shit and go through the detox, which I will be starting in probably about 1 week's time. Yeah, I got 1 week left before it all, but I don't know. Should I do a poll? Should I like stream the worst of it so everybody can see how absolutely horrible and hellish it is? I'm not sure. I don't know if the world really does need to see all of that, but right, see the methadone as well. And you have to force yourself to be able to taper it and then fight the sickness to get off, right? But it takes time, and it's so fucking hard, and it affects the body so much. But I'm at that point where I don't want it anymore. So exactly, still alive, and I've lost a lot of friends over 50 to opiates, and it kills me just bringing it up and having to think of it. It's absolutely horrible. Oh, and detox, nice, awesome, Jessica. Right? It's just you gotta get it done. Oh, but you've been clean since 2012. Amazing. Or I'm not sure. Might have read that wrong. Point in case. Oh, October is not gonna be a very fun month at all. But by November, I should be feeling alive again. So because of that, I'm not really booking too many interviews here for October, but there will be like the Fringe Science Think Tank. There'll be APEC at the end of the month for sure. There'll be lots of the coil building workshops going on too with Nathan, Old Man Bills, Ben, Beneficence TV, Gerald, WPG Enlighten for Truth 2, Mike over at Faraday Research, and the rest of the crew. They will still be doing streams, and I will make sure to join in anytime I have the energy for it, but we will see. And it'll still be a week here that, I might do a stream or two from BC, might do an episode tomorrow, depending on how things go. We will see, but either way, it's gonna be a painful October. And look at the world events, just crazy stuff going on. Do I pull up video? I don't know, because it's like when I don't know, because it's like Iran launching missiles at Israel. It's like, if you play them, does that make you anti-Semitic? I don't know. Anyways, we'll just not go into that. Instead, we will go through something much more beautiful. We will take a look at writing on stone. national or UNESCO site. A thank you. And my girlfriend did just go through coming off the Suboxone. She quit cold turkey in August, and thus the the essential push for me to go through and fully commit to it, as well as we need to do it. Right, exactly. Lots of podcasts on sobriety, and I've done it many times before. It's and now it's just time in my life to fully commit on to it and move into the next chapter of life. And as we move into the next chapter of life, we're moving into the next chapter of this stream, and we're looking at Yellowstone photo that I took right here. And this super sus. It's very melty, but it's also very face-like, and it's like, what was the melting? And then also very sus looking megalithic blocks just to the left. And this is southern Alberta. This is not Cappadocia. This is not Turkey. This is the Milk River, which I believe is in between the US and Canada, but I could be mistaken on that. It could be a bit over. But yeah, this right here, is that pareidolia, or was something like melted, or was it covered up after the fact? I'm not entirely sure, but very, very suspect-ish. But which one's the video? Here we go. We got it. Oh, that was just a short video, but as we loop it and it keeps playing, you see what looks like another giant face up there, or what I see as a giant face right here. And potential suspect geology leading up to very suspect geology, which definitely resembles another face, I think, at least. And then there's all of these holes, which I can't help but wonder and suspect. The ones at the top, do they have astral alignments? And then all of the ones in the stone, were they actually part of architecture and building? And then the actual rock itself seeming also very suspect, and if it is like a polygonal sandstone, and was it geopolymer potentially? It's open for debate, that's for sure. Ooh, which video we got here? I think this might be some of the, no, not the petroglyphs, just the sides, but down there is where the petroglyphs are. Actually, just not a close-up, but you can see very suspect block-like sandstone throughout. And there's very parallel lines everywhere. Damn, Crosshatch. Power to you, brother. That's wild. And, well, I guess I can pause this for a minute and go back into, at the height of my prescription of Oxycontin, where I was on 1880s a day, and I ran out for the first time and experienced the sickness for the first time and realized how absolutely fucked I was. This was like 15 years ago now, I believe, or so, maybe 12, 13, I guess, maybe. Anyways, point being, I started cutting back and tapering them, and I was, as I got to 8, so I cut 50% in like a couple weeks, and it was really affecting me because taking down so much. So I was like to my doctor, oh, I need something to sleep. And she gave me, I kid you not, it was either 6 or 8 10 milligram blue Valiums a day while I was still taking 8 80 milligram oxys. And it's like, again, I should be dead because those two combination of drugs literally stops your heart. And in that high of prescription, it is an absolute miracle that I'm with you today. And yeah, it was absolute like doctor malpractice, like just ridiculous. But yeah, so from the heights to where I am now, it will be a breeze, right? I got to stop building it up in my head that it's going to be hell because it's like tapering down. I'm on a very low dose. So power to me. I'm going to make it through, and it doesn't have to be hell, hopefully, but I know the reality of it. Anyways, projecting better. And projecting making it back to this amazing place next summer with hopefully all of you lovely souls, if not some of you lovely souls that can make it in person when we finally do a Badlands meetup trip and exploration. And you can see as I zoom in on this one that kind of looks a little bit pyramidal, that again, very suspect parallel lines throughout looking like blocks of sandstone, that it is megalithic structures that have then had severe erosion and possibly melting of what is the term, vitrification from extreme heat potentially. And again, is that another potential face or figure on top of that one? And everywhere very, very, very block-like, to say the least. Very suspect. And very sphinx-like, lots of sphinxish looking figures, even that potentially a little bit sphinxy, and everything very block. It's all blocks, right? Like suspect geology, to say the least. Here we have some of the actual petroglyphs, and that they've scrubbed many of these petroglyphs out. Why? Why have they scrubbed them? And here's one of those, the holes you can see look perfectly drilled. Okay, they're not from erosion, and they are most likely human made and intentionally made. And again, very, very suspect looking potential polygonal masonry of sandstone. Here, the bedrock, very suspect lines in it. And again, we zoom in and we see these very parallel layers. Like, it's just uncanny how it is, and that always the holes are in the layers. And very, very block-like looking polygonal potential structures. And is this melted? Is this like, it's just very suspect, strange geology. Is it cast? Is it vitrified? It's definitely heavily eroded. This was something I found inside one of the blocks. Very strange indeed. It was like, almost looked like it was bone or flesh and bone or something. It was complete different mineral makeup. And then actual bones found in the pathways. Here again, potential sphinx-like. And it's like there's tunnels throughout all of these. Out of face there, again, potentially. Like there's just every single corner you go around. Very, very suspect. Blessed to you, Divine Hazel, Crosshatch, Jessica, Yokan, Lokan, Frank Berg, Sam, Extinguished Gent, and Iwan T. Anyone else I have missed? Blessed be to all of ye joining today and watching this. And we will be going back here next year. And again, look at this. Like, just, it's so suspect of block-like geology. And here, these are throughout, and some of them are much deeper indented, and they are like the cart ruts, and it is what looks to be engineered and built drainage and irrigation throughout. And it's not eroded, it's actually like built in, and in some spots identical to what they call the cart ruts style stuff. Here, do we have another face? I'm not sure. Potentially. There's another one in there, right there, I believe. They're all over the place. It's like Pareidolia Heaven or Pareidolia Nightmare, one or the other. But this picture right here, very important, because this shows the swallow nests, and you can see that they're all built on the outside of the rock. They use mud and they build them. They build these nests on the cliffs, but it's on the outside. And why I have to point this out and why it is so important is because the fake archaeologists try to claim that all of these holes are built by the same birds, the swallows, for nesting, yet you will not find a single swallow nested in any of these holes anywhere throughout. So the vast majority not made from water erosion, and definitely not made by these swallows, that you clearly see their nests being built on the outside, not burrowed in whatsoever, all built with extra mud, stick, and grass on the exterior of the rock. Thus, and there's hundreds of them, if not, well, there's actually thousands throughout this little area, and they've all built nests on the outside, none burrowing. Now, this picture right here, also very, very suspect. It almost looks like this was the wall of a former building. You can see right here what looks like a side wall that has collapsed, and then an inner wall to another wall over here. And this picture, not high enough res. Illusion, I have a couple elsewhere that it does almost seem like that it is brick right here, that this wall is made of brick, but not showing in this picture. And then this looking like giant megalithic blocks making up the structure here next to it. Very, very suspect geology, to say the least. And is it pre-cataclysm, macro terraformed work? And this is all in southern Alberta, right on the border with Montana. All right, watching another little video that I took. Not sure how long it is. Oh, okay. We got a minute. All right, restarted with volume. Oh, that's okay. Get this extra footage. Very good that it started recording on its own. Use what they call the fairy chimneys, or like the almost phallic looking or giant mushroom looking structures all over. And are they monoliths? Do they have astral alignments? Are they actually petrified chimneys? Not sure. Beautiful. Got the pause right in time to show right here another one of what I was saying resembles those cart ruts, and that it is actually built in aquifer or drainage within these structures, and that they're everywhere within this, and they're everywhere within these sort of what they call badlands or hoodoos, but these what appear to be Cappadocia like structures from a previous civilization, potentially. You can kind of see where they've also built it here along that side, but not as well. All right, enough of that one. See, so it's like, are there astral alignments with these different sorts of holes and features in those? Oops. There we go. Sorry. And then, like, imagine logs and beams going throughout these, and it being support structures for buildings and potential teepees, canopies, whatnot, shelters, cities throughout this potentially. And then, you know, human inhabitation throughout these, like it's documented, and like is documented on the other side of the earth with the same features that are credited to man-made in Cappadocia, throughout Turkey, there in these regions where they have tunnels and houses throughout them. And I just, see sphinxes and faces everywhere. Pareidolia dream. What can I say? Pareidolia dream. But super sus block geology everywhere. Like, how is it these parallel lines throughout with, right? Totally looks like something out of Star Wars. It's absolutely amazing. There's a reason it's a UNESCO site, but it also prevents any archaeology going on and finding, potential caves and habitation and evidence of this actually being manufactured. Here's another face again up here, another face up there again at the top of the hills. Big blocks throughout, and everywhere you see the blocks. Like, it's pretty wild. It's very, very suspect. And there are caves everywhere throughout it. And then there's the block-like polygonal structures looking like throughout. Very, very suspect geology, to say the least. And this is sandstone that has lichen growing all over it, I believe, is what's covering it and covering up. But you can still see the block formations, symmetry throughout. Oh, some dicks vandalism. Shame on them. Oh well. As long as it wasn't over a pre-existing geoglyph, I guess. Do we have another face right there? Or potential animal that's eroded away? I don't know. Is it pareidolia, or are there faces throughout this? How many have we seen so far? How many faces? Anyone got a count? Sphinxes, faces, monkeys. But then, of course, with tens of thousands of years of erosion and actual weathering and whatever original catastrophe that wiped the civilization out. Like a lizard face or just pareidolia. I don't know. But very, very suspect archaeology, to say the least. Again, potential astral alignment through that. And the pictures I'm showing is just, oh yeah, what I was calling similar to the cart ruts are 100% related to drainage. 100% related to drainage. And what we're looking at is just the tip of the desert. And here we go. Here's a perfect one where you can literally see it carved in, and that this goes along the lines of what they call the cart ruts, and that it is 100% used for drainage and agricultural purposes within these. And look at that. Boom. Perfect definition of what they call it. Kinsei Sensei, you got it. Playing with just the tip today. All right, before YouTube cancels me, let's take it off the dirty track and look at what we have. Are these eroded carvings? I don't know. Or is it just erosion? I don't know. Very interesting, suspect geology, to say the least. Kind of looks like a wall, and that kind of looked like a helmet face dude, but trees in the way in that image. Then here we show across the river, and across the river looks even more suspect, and you're not allowed to fly a drone over it. Very suspect. Sound like Grand Canyon Badlands, very similar, yeah. And that you're not even allowed to go over and explore, and it looks like there's much bigger caves, much larger caves and tunnels throughout what is on the opposite side. Like that looks like it still even could be inhabited, like very suspect, very looking like Cappadocia and Kuyu with the underground cities underneath it. Like that's what this looks like. And that's what I suspect we are looking at in these pictures. Like, look at these perfect caves and carvings throughout. Like, very, very suspect, to say the least. Looking like windows, doors, entrances. I don't know. Are those petroglyphs? Potentially could also just be water erosion. But like, look at that. That's right. Petra vibes too, 100%. Very, very suspect geology, to say the least. I don't know how many times I'm going to repeat myself in saying that, but it is true. Oh, here we got a little bit higher resolution photo showing some of the caves and what could be windows, entrances, doorways. Like, look at that. It's a perfect doorway right there. Perfect windows. Very, very suspect site. Writing on stone, UNESCO, World Heritage. Like, is that a face? Is that a face? That one? Potentially. And look at all of these caves and window holes, potentially. Just so sus, and more sus, right? Like, it's wild. It just, what else could it be than pre-cataclysm ruins? And the history of this area, the indigenous hid out in here and weren't conquered, I believe. The RCMP, Royal Mounted Armed Police, had to set up watchtowers at the entrances and exits of the Badland valleys here. And yeah, look at that. Straight cave, what look like entrances inside of those. And very, very suspect, to say the least, for the 15,000th time that I've repeated that today. Okay. Like, just, it warrants going back for further investigation, to say the least. But on top of that, it's just so freaking beautiful and amazing and mesmerizing when you're there, awe-inspiring and wild. Uh-oh. Am I at the end? I'm not at the end of the photo album, am I? Apparently we are. Oh, maybe it's just the smaller one I had open. Uh-oh. Well, oh yeah. Of course, the file folder says mini. So let's try and find a bigger one, shall we? Which folder? Well, I guess we'll actually switch it up for a little bit. We're going to go what is in there today, right? Like little men, big men. I believe some is still indigenous sacred land. So very good question, Jessica. And I don't know. Now we're going to look at another very suspect site, which is along the same highway. Or actually, I guess this is just a little bit north. Sorry, this is a little bit northwest, but also in southern Alberta. And here we have head smashed in Buffalo Jump, another UNESCO World Site. But to me, looking at it with new eyes, I see a step pyramid complex potentially and a very ancient megalithic site. It is very suspect, and it also thousands of years of inhabitation, or tens of thousands of years of inhabitation, with lots of megalithic rock style layers, and potentially what could be a macro terraformed pyramid site. And trying to find some of the bluffs, maybe the a little bit better resolution, but there's a lot of suspect, like all of these are giant rocks and layers within it. There we go, showing a little bit better. Now getting in, seeing the caves. Caves throughout it. Suspect geology. Very suspect geology. And very similar to the other Badlands sites and potential pyramid sites of southern Alberta. Is it potentially from the original pre-cataclysm builders? I suspect so. And I suspect underground chambers within this complex, if it is an ancient pre-cataclysm pyramid site. And here's a picture from the interpretive center, and this also extremely suspect. So the museum interpretive center of Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump is actually built as an underground pyramid into the actual side of this site. And it's like, why would they do that? Like, it just seems like such insane extra expenses, unless you were covering up and using something that was already there, right? Like, why would they make this giant underground museum in the site unless, there was already excavated, dugout pyramid site that they were then just covering up to, well, hide it, right? A little monolith right there. Very suspect. Very suspect, to say the least. And then from the height of it, you can see all the southern Alberta wind farm generators now making up the skyline. And here again, you can see the different layers of this underground pyramid museum interpretive center that they built into Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump site. Again, there's the different underground inside the museum into the hillside of part of Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump World UNESCO site. Very, very suspect, again, to say the least. Is it a cover-up? I don't know. You tell me. But why would they build a museum underground into it? That doesn't make much sense, but who knows? Who knows? Kind of pyramidal, but who knows? Could just be pareidolia. But it does really, really look like step pyramids, does it not? Underground Pyramids Museum Interpretive Center. All right. Oh, and there's head-on of the main hill features of it. I suspect there's something much, much more to this place. Head smashed in Buffalo Jump, potentially an ancient pyramid complex, I suspect, of the original pre-cataclysm megalithic mountain pyramid builders. All right, now going on. Words. Oh, now I guess now we're into Red Rock Canyon, not to be mistaken with Red Rock Coulee. Red Rock Canyon. This is in Waterton National Park, just below. I guess it's west of Writing on Stone UNESCO site and south, directly south, or mostly southwest of Head Smashed in Buffalo Jump. And here we start seeing the extremely red rock, and then there's full mountains made out of this red rock. And we will come up to Red Rock Canyon in a few. First, it's beautiful wildflowers. This is the site 2 Junes ago. Went down with my mom. Shout out to my mom's. Well, she took most of these photos here. And now we are at Red Rock Canyon. And I believe, oh, that could be, no, I don't think that one's me yet. I'm somewhere there with the dog. Anyways, there we go. There's Bernie with the dog. And this Red Rock Canyon goes up all the way up the mountain and all the way down the river Canyon Mountain into the valley. All the way down into the valley, quite several kilometers, I believe, and a couple kilometers up the canyon as well. And then there's even the no-go zone, and the no-go zone supposedly under construction. It's so much more suspect. Even in here is a bit sus, but the pictures, if you've seen from the photo gallery that the stream I've done on Red Rock Canyon from my photos where I go into the no-go zone, very, very block-like as well. These ones looking like kind of like snakes, the quartz veins. Very beautiful either way. And shout out to Stellium 7 as this site potentially, if there was a Titan biogeology potential case in southern Alberta, Canada, I would say that this might be it. Either way, very beautiful, very suspect, very awe-inspiring site as well. And highly recommend checking it out if you're ever in Alberta. It's a national park, and here we had a ram running by us right in the center of Waterton National Park. Here's the Waterton the Waterton Falls, right in the township of Waterton. And out front was that ram. Absolute beautiful, beautiful park to visit. And oh, weird. Just gorgeous, tranquil scenery. Waterton Lake. And some very suspect looking mountains making up Waterton National Park background. And then the Chateau. Waterton Hotel Chateau or whatever. Water tower and the mountains. Very interesting features to the mountains. Very beautiful. This one back here, very, very suspect. It's a suspect mountain, this one. Very suspect features. There we go. There's a close-up of it. Very suspect features to some of these mountains. Definitely need to get a drone up there and also hike up there at some point, as I say that's suspect. Kind of looks like temples and carvings, but you never know. Very interesting, very suspect geology. Kind of looks like Asian temples a little bit. Back to shout out Walter Bosley channel and the research and thesis on an ancient global Vedic culture. These kind of resemble the remnants of that potentially. Like looks like stupas and stuff. Potential giant Buddha or something, right? Like very, very suspect. Pyramidal looking, Buddha looking, stupas looking, stupa looking. Very suspect, to say the least. Again. Who knows? But I aim to find out one day. All right. Continue on and see some more red rock coming out of the mountains of Waterton. So many of them. Wild. I guess a lot of iron within those Rocky Mountains. A rainstorm going into Waterton. Leaving Waterton. Suspect hill sites and giant wind farms. This is the story of southern Alberta. Wind farm galore, and some dams, and some wind farms. And here we are at Lunbrick Falls. Lunbrick Falls, very beautiful. Lunbrick Falls, very close by to Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump and Waterton National Park as well. Right? Huge red flags. Good evening, Gold Coast lady. Good morning. Depending where you are, but on the Gold Coast, good evening, my friend. All right, we shall continue on. What else? So we're looking at here. We're at Lundbrick Falls, but then there's more photos. Lundbrick Falls. There's my mom. Lundbrick Falls. There's mom. Hi, mom. Shout out, mom. Lundbrick Bridge next to the falls. Got a panorama there. Oh, there's Bernie and the T2. My dog. Shout out T2. And shout out to the crane that my mom caught a picture of, or the white stork. White stork, maybe? One or the other. Stork or a crane. Sitting there ready to catch fish. Sitting there ready to catch some fish, that stork or crane. He don't care. He just fishing. Just fishing. All right. So this is another suspect site that are potential pyramids in southern Alberta. They look like potential. Oh, Chain Lakes. Oh, I don't know if I got the good pictures there of the pyramids. Here's the dams at Chain Lakes. That what did they dam up that could be underneath it as the oh, a couple groundhogs. Here we go. Potential pyramid. Potential step pyramids. Very, very suspect. And it is aligned to the cardinal points. I do believe. Very, very suspect site, to say the least. And this is close by to Chain Lakes. Very, very suspect. Very sus. Sus site. Is it a pyramid? Potentially. Very suspect. I don't know. More research needs to be done. That's faux show. Super suspect. Southern Alberta. We got the mountains. We got the wind farms. And we got the suspect sites. We got the canola crops. Now we're at Red Rock Coulee. It's Red Rock Coulee, different than Red Rock Canyon. Absolutely, the fourth wise man, 100%. It is time to do. And in the coming 2 weeks, I will be going through full detox. It's going to be a journey. All right. Next summer, we will be journeying back to this site, another one of the Badlands of southern Alberta, this being Red Rock Coulee, very sus mound, potential flat top pyramid there, and these holes that you can see here chipped off so that this isn't from erosion. They were made like that, and then pieces chip off. So there's this harder outer layer, the darker layer, and then underneath this lighter layer. And here you can even see pieces chipping off into these indents. So these indents were already there, and that you can see this dark outer layer going into the indents and just pieces chipping off going in, but that the holes themselves, not from erosion, and that they do contain this outer shell and that you can see chipped underneath the softer stuff. So they were formed with the stone, not afterwards from erosion. Oh, here I am with T2. Shout out to my mom's taking this picture. And the red, oh, here you can see the lines. Very good. The concentric circles within one of these cracked open round spheres. And some of them the size of cars, just absolutely huge. Thus the name of Red Rock Coulee. Oh, that was the sun through the smoke, all the forest fire smoke appearing that red. That no filter added to that picture. All right. And here we are at this site. I believe we are, yes, we are right here. This site right here, in and around the face, and then all of the hills that make up these guys, and this guy right here, aka this guy, aka that guy, same guy, of course. But specifically, I was on this road right here between these two faces, and just to the east of where these two faces are. So along this road right here. And that is where we find, discovered these parallel terraces every 3 feet, making up every incline, every face of the hills that make up these giant faces that are the Badland guardians of the Medicine Hat geoglyph site. Here you can see these parallel terraces covering the hills from top to bottom, and that it is evidence towards intentional, intelligently designed construction making up these hills and these faces. And just for scale, there I am right there. So you can see that it's pretty much, I'm 6 feet tall. There's one, there's two. Every 3 feet. Oh, and the hawk circling above me. I think it was an eagle, actually. But yes, those parallel giant terraces every 3 feet, making up these hillsides that make up the faces of the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians. And that when I talked to the owner of the property, they definitely did not make this, and it is definitely not animal tracks. Those are ancient leftover terraces making up these hillsides. And this extended hill right here that you're looking at is the extended feather coming out of the helmet of this Aztec warrior here. And that is what you're looking at in the valley of the different faces of the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians. All right. Oh, back at Red Rock Coulee. Again, back at Red Rock Coulee, showing the concentric circles inside. And that is the end of that photo gallery. All right. Well, night of a full moon beyond. Yeah, right. So I think I will try to time it to the full moon. Hopefully that is the case. So I think that's 2 weeks time, but no, I'm trying to start in a week's time. So we'll see how it goes. Might have to be halfway through. But attaboy, right? Keep that 5 minutes. That's funny. All right. Well, it is 1:12, 2:30 a.m. What else can I cover? Should I cover? We went through them photos. Here we go. All right. I think I have found some more photos of writing on stone. Absolutely, I will. I am aiming to do that. I don't want to get ahead of myself, and I don't want to like give the guy any ideas to like go do it elsewhere or to decline and stuff like that. So that I got his contact info. I'm just waiting to the point that I am together, organized, and ready to go down to do a trip. And then yes, we will be asking, see if we can try to fundraise to see if we can pay him to do a little dig or something like that. Absolutely, because it 1000% deserves it, as does maybe on the private properties that border writing on stone UNESCO site here that also have all of these wild formations that to me again look like Cappadocia, look like ancient ruined cities, and very, very suspect to say the least. Very suspect. And there is a nice campground right below all of these hoodoos and the formations right along the river. So we're going to do a couple day, 2 or 3, maybe even 4-day exploration and trip to Writing Stone at the very least this next year. And in this picture, again, we got Pareidolia Heaven. That looks like one. That looks like one. Potentially that looks like one. Just faces galore. Oops, even missed a couple to the right, potentially. Right there, very Sphinx-like. Another face, very Sphinx-like. Very suspect. They're all so super sus. It's just wild. And everywhere you have the parallel block-like formations that just look like geopolymer sandstone megalithic work. It's just, I don't know. Very suspect. And then the very nice beach next to the campsite down to the right here. But what's this? Like a parabolic dish almost. What do we got here? Could be for a rope, anchor maybe, lift. Not sure. Very suspect. And the height of these, the size of them is immense. There are several stories, and that I found like in amongst them all sorts of different like caves and holes and stuff that I just did not feel comfortable trying to explore on my own with no equipment, no safety equipment, no climbing equipment, and with no one knowing where I was by myself. Wasn't willing to risk it the first time, but when we go back as a group, there are all sorts of different areas and caves and holes, and who knows what we will find, but potentials of underground areas and chambers and such within these It's just absolutely massive. It's really mind-blowing. To be honest, just the scale of it, the size of it all, and how far they cover, how much ground it covers, because I'm just showing pictures of just the tiniest percentage portion of this overall feature. Oh, Bernie yelling at the dog. But here again, you see the face. There we go. One of the faces. Main one's at the top. This is where everybody, I guess, recently graffitis. Potential face. No, I sure didn't. Very Sphinx-like, very suspect, every which way. There's literally hundreds of miles of trail between. I think it's 10 or 20 miles of these features on either side of the river as they go along, that have the history of inhabitation, that have the history of the not just inhabitation, but thousands of years. Some are even tens of thousand-year-old petroglyphs at this site that are dated, and constant inhabitation throughout. Thus, very sus. Very sus. Parallel block-like layers on everything. It looks like polygonal geopolymer sandstone masonry from a previous age, is what I suspect of this site. And like these, is there astrological alignments? Potentially. Writing on stone. All right, I'm gonna play this. BRB. All right, so that's my initial reaction to finding this. Blockwork? Like blockwork? That looks like blockwork to me. Like that looks like ancient sandstone blockwork, polygonal, petroglyphs, some petroglyphs scratched out, others right here, these almost being like alchemy symbol potentially. Thank goodness, just checking, made sure that I wasn't muted so you could hear me as I continue looking at this. Like, and then what is this guy right here with horns? It's like a robot or a human or a devil with like two horns or really big ears or something. But I don't know. Very strange. And then what's like the looks like there's like a melted or like a painted on layer or maybe vitrification. I'm not sure. Very suspect to say the least. Very, very suspect. And see right here. Oh, right here. This is about 6 feet tall. Like this is my height. And then up in here is a pathway that goes up, and that goes up about 20 feet tall, and then you're about 30 or 40 feet up a cliff facing the river from there, and there could be some tunnels in there. When I lifted myself up a little bit, it looked like there was like a hole going into the rock as well, and these sort of little hidden paths that are scattered throughout are absolutely everywhere in these areas. And like it looks like blockwork, and it looks like it's artificial, and it's huge. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And once again, they try to claim that all of these holes are either made from birds excavating them for nests, which I've already earlier shown is complete fabrication. There's zero evidence of any birds inhabiting or excavating, digging out any of these holes. They make their nests on the exterior of the rock face on the cliffs with adding mud, adding grass and sticks, and building on the outside. None of them dig into the inside. Most likely these holes were done by either the original builders or civilizations, people that occupied afterwards, and used them for, wood supports, other props, ropes, who knows, but for actually, making structures around out of the original structures. Oh, again. No, that's natural erosion, maybe. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a cart rut and it literally prevents the erosion path. I don't see. It looks like right here, like that's actually carved into the stone. Almost, I think it is. I think that is actually part of the carved. It's not eroded. Here it erodes naturally more, but this looks like part of the original water infrastructure, like I've been showing and highlighting throughout these formations. And again, a very pyramidal looking formation right in the middle, right here, right there. And what looks like block work everywhere. Block work absolutely everywhere. And what looks like faces, that right there. Pareidolia heaven. Oh, there we go. Is that another face? Another sphinx-like? Potentially. And what appear to be giant megalithic sandstone blocks everywhere. Some potentially suffering vitrification from a past heat catastrophe event, some exhibiting signs of almost melting. And then, of course, tens of thousands of years of natural erosion. But just suspect geology every which way you pan the camera and look. It's really, really, really like nothing else I've experienced, to be perfectly honest and frank. Writing on stone, absolutely amazing. Here you can see I'm panning in and showing this is the campsite sand beach. It's all beautiful sand, as is going into the Milk River, and then just behind to the right is where the actual camping is. And then across you see the far bank, and then the far side of the river, the even more suspect Badland Hoodoo features. Can see kind of get a bit of scope, just the size difference of like how towering tall they really are. Like this is probably 5 or 6 feet right there. And so it's like, is it for small people? Were these homes of the small people? Is this where like are they called fairy chimneys because actual fairies and little sprites and small humanoid hobbit type creatures inhabit and live in these, Badlands ruined features, structures? Maybe. There's lots of legends of it. I don't know. Maybe there are dwarfs and fairies still living. I don't know. Just a thought. But lots of the little tunnels seem to be too small for humans. But that's not to say that there aren't plenty that seem to also fit a modern human as well, and lots of them. And this just being very small little petroglyphs, the entire site throughout the 15 kilometers of the park. I believe there's hundreds, if not thousands, of documented cases of different petroglyphs throughout. It's quite amazing. And on this trip, I didn't get to see barely any. So that's going to be another main part of 1 or 2 of the days when we go back the next time around. Could this be the remnants of elongated skulls? Potentially. I'm not sure, just speculating, but who knows? Very suspect looking features. Like, is that a face? Is that a sphinx? There's a hole in it. Could be an astrological alignment as well. This one kind of looks like a step pyramid of types. Very interesting. Not entirely sure, but very suspect. Once again, like maybe 1% of the park I'm showing you pictures of that I was able to cover in the half a day that I was exploring here, whereas there's literally tens of kilometers long between each side of the river, and who knows how far she goes and what all is in it. And then there's all the valleys, the different valley, creek channels coming off of the main river valley. So that could also extend tens of kilometers more. Again, here showing one of these water feature, irrigation, things that seemed more carved than eroded. Here's another one as well, as it seems more carved than eroded. Pareidolia for days. Every which way you look, you'll find something. And every which way you look, it's very suspect with parallel lines, potential, especially the higher up seems like it has preserved more of the potential vitrification, and then the further out exposed, the more time to actual natural erosion that ate away at this hard outer shell or casing, whatever it might be. Again, another hole, potential astrological alignment. And every single one of these is its own maze and tunnel. Like every way you go is a different path between massive structure features that are just wild, with faces appearing in so many of them. Like, look at this one. That kind of looks like a window to what could be a room inside. This one being the one that I said looks very pyramidal, looking very, very pyramidal indeed. And are these just the outsides of actual carved out rooms and homes on the inside that are accessed from farther below, or potentially buried entrances that are covered up? Who knows? Worth looking into. Definitely need LiDAR done of this area. And this one right here, very, very suspect. So here you can kind of see the campground, the beach, the Milk River, and then the south side features, and that there's valleys that go up with so many more all the way, and it goes for I believe 10 miles to the west, as well as several to the east here, and so much to be discovered within this super suspect site that seems like it is the ruins of an ancient pre-cataclysm civilization. More bones that I found in the pathway, just random bones. Towering crazy mazes, monkey lion faces, parallel lines, traces, and more faces on the faces of the rock. Every which way you look, you will find them. All right, one more time. Here we have the actual swallow nests. As I was saying, you can see that they are all built out of mud and grass on the outside face, outside of the rock. None of them actually burrowing in or digging. These are nothing to do with the swallows. You don't see swallows building their nests on these holes or anything like that. No, you just see swallows completely building their nests on the outside of the rock. Nothing to do with the holes. Nothing to do with holes. Bottom, looking across. And this, I've got pictures zoomed in Very, very suspect as well. Mound-like, or is it one more up maybe? Here, showing some more of the swallows. Oh, the swallows. All right, showing the swallows. Oh, little bunny rabbit. And then here, there's a giant cave, and it's huge underground area in between the river and the side wall here, and it was startlingly large, to say. Like it was pretty sketchy. It was big. I should have gotten a video of it, but the dog was pulling, and it gave me the heebie-jeebies, so I got the heck out of there. This the one, kind of. It seems like brick-ish. Yeah, see, like cobblestone brick-like-ish, potentially. Wall. I swear I got higher quality, higher res pictures somewhere. Anyways, until I find them. Very suspect. Suspect site. All right, here. Zone Park. And we are going to go back up into the hoodoos and explore and try. And like it really does resemble Cappadocia and Turkey, and there's Darren Kuyu underneath like the cities of Cappadocia and several different ones, and it's like the area is also in the same area that you find Göbekli Tepe as well as Karen Tepe. Göbekli Tepe dated to 12,000 years old, and Karen Tepe like 35 or 40,000 years old sites. And then you have people still living in the mountain cities of Cappadocia, Turkey, which is looking pretty identical to these features. So it's just so sus how much it resembles.
Truly awe-inspiring.
And that was that video. But here again, as it starts over, you can see that I'm walking in from the base. This is like the outhouse washrooms for the camp. And then just the size of the vines and the vegetation. And then the scale of these, what they call hoodoo badlands geology, but this sandstone, what seems to be block-like formations. Danny Jones has been doing some really good podcasts, so I will have to check that out. And see all sorts of faces throughout. Just every time, every which way. Drives me crazy. Not really. I kind of enjoy it. Hey, look, like a face right there? Maybe. It looked like it to me. Oop. And is that one there? And that one there? Maybe. But right here, definitely. No, that wasn't the water feature. Haven't gotten to the really good one. Evidences of the so quote unquote cart rut, but in fact our water irrigation channels designed in like, oh, there we go. That was a decent one. Come on. Yeah. Not that one. Was it that one? I don't know. Might have missed it. But like, is that a face? I think so. Potential. It really is a magical place where every second corner it looks like a face. It's just a giant maze that goes on for ever and ever, really. It's spectacular. We will spend days walking through here. And I gotta try to get like a hacked drone that or a spoofed drone that can like fly in areas where they try to ban you like this and see. But before going to that extreme, see if we can find some of the area along the river that isn't part of the UNESCO sites, that's either private land or crown land that we can fly the drone over. Oh, that one wasn't. Oh, have I played this one earlier? I think so. Oh. Right, here's another one of those water channel irrigation features. They truly are. So wild. Yeah, they literally do. There's a reason they hijack them all, so that no real research can be done, no actual archaeology and excavation and discovery can be done. I swear that's why UNESCO takes over these sites, so that they can rule that you cannot fly drones over it and make all sorts of those stupid laws. Other people enjoying it. It's just so massive. It's truly, truly an experience worth putting on one's bucket list. So here again, we have what they call fairy chimney, and it actually literally kind of looks like a chimney and does kind of look like brick, block, stone ruins of a building with what looks like brick, block, as well as potential megalithic stone next to it, right? So what really are these? It's looking very, very suspect, to say the least. How many times have I said that in this show? Face-like, Egyptian-like, Sphinx-like, even Egyptian-like sandstone block everywhere. Very similar. And then here you have what looks kind of like the melted vitrification potential erosion aspects. Not sure. Maybe just tens of thousands of years of natural erosion, eating away, melting the sand a bit. Gorilla face? Lion face? Just seeing faces everywhere. Pareidolia throughout. Potential other, but that looks more eroded naturally. Like, what do we have there? Looks almost Toltec. Very strange. Very suspect. Extreme suspects. Can you get more suspect? And parallel blocks everywhere. Just how do we have that? Ooh, we got a long one.
There is now here. We are continuing on and writing on Stone Badlands.
huge history. To answer your question, huge documentation of inhabitation in these Badlands at this site. Like the petroglyphs go back literally 10,000 years here, and that there's depictions of different times of history all the way up to the natives fighting the Westerners on horses with guns depicted in the most recent petroglyphs that were left, and that the natives were never fully conquered or captured or driven out of this area, and that there's signs of inhabitation through it for up to 10,000 years, and that the oldest petroglyphs were dated to at least 10,000 years, I believe, is the official story here. Oh. Right, so looks like Cappadocia. It's ridiculous how much it does. It's fully mind-blowing. But I'm getting to the 2-hour mark here, so we will be cutting this off in the next couple minutes. And in that video right there, you saw what I call the slide, but it's like watching the videos afterwards, it seems like a lot of the areas are these carved channels for the water, the irrigation, and it's not actually eroded, but it's these cut channels. And I'm noticing them more and more in different spots through the photos and the videos I've taken here while going through it all or rewatching it. So next year we will be definitely going here, and I will be there fully sober, and I am going to be detoxing here in the next 1 to 2 weeks, getting fully off of Suboxone. And yeah, so if you don't see BurnEye doing videos for a little bit, that is why. But it is to get exactly clear and clean. And that's what it is all about, is the clear perception, getting rid of the fog, getting rid of the cloud, and bringing back the fullest, clearest mind and life possible. And with that, I definitely am struggling. So if anyone can support, donations are desperately needed. Either way, I'm going to be going through with it. It just sucks that I don't think I'm going to be doing much work this month by going through the detox. But that's just how she goes. All right. On that note, love you all. Thank you for watching. And until the next time, a ta-ta.
You crazy mother. Yeah.
It's just BurnEye. BurnEye just like last week, huh?
Weekend at BurnEye's.